Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest reality TV, Jeff Lewis, shingles. Like, what the hell happened to me? Friday's Jeff Lewis Live, today's Jeff Lewis Live, all the things. Hope you're doing well and had a better weekend than me. Good grief. I mean, y'all know when I got back from sorry, I've got my glasses on. I just cannot wear the one contact today. And if you notice stuff there, it's lidocaine 4%. So I just put a fresh thing on with a cotton ball. So if it looks goopy, that's all it is. It is drying up, I promise you. Because there are some people, especially on TikTok, there's a girl that I think she's got a Sarah from Texas obsessed group, and I just didn't even know about it. The way she loves to come at me, I'm like, girl, go find you someone real that you like to pay attention to. Why are you on my dick, as Bethany Frankel would say? Anyways, but when I got back from the Phoenix show, I probably had COVID. I was so sick. I never even tested, canceled the appointment that I had for my annual checkup. In hindsight, that is my internist. I should have went to the doctor. That's what you go to the doctor for, is when you're sick. But anyways, it was my regular checkup. I didn't want to get anyone sick. So I should have gone. I like to say on my dick instead of my jock. But yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of didn't Kristen Doty say get off my dick or something like that? Anyways, but in hindsight, I should have went to the doctor to test for COVID. That way I could have gotten started on that new prescription that they have, because it ended up being so bad for like 7 or 8 days. So I guess my immune system was down. They had me on that prednisone steroid that was awful. Now that I look back at this, thank you so much, y'all. I would have never known this is what shingles look like. Of course, it didn't look this bad on, Tuesday night. I started getting the faint headache that just wouldn't go away. Wednesday, I think I said, I'm going to quit drinking coffee. It's giving me a headache. By Thursday, and I noticed some bruising when I put on makeup Wednesday. By Thursday, the headache, I'm like, this is day 2.5 of a constant headache. This is very unusual for me. But I'm like, do you go to the doctor and say, I've got a headache, like no other symptoms? And then I noticed what I thought, I'm not touching, just so you know, because y'all are bitching and moaning. I'm not nowhere near as touching about the pimple. And y'all immediately said it was shingles. And of course I freaked out. So anyways, thank you sincerely, because I did make an appointment and got in Friday afternoon. She and then sent me to they called it an ambulatory ophthalmology appointment. So I got that quickly right after. They dilated my eyes, checked the health of my eyes. Luckily, it's not in my eyes, but since it is here following the nerve, since then the itching has started, those pings, those nervous, horrific, painful, like zings. Oh, they're awful. So I called back to the doctor already today and said, hey, you never told me it was going to get worse over the weekend. The more I looked into it, day 4 and 5 is when it gets even worse. So of course, that was over the weekend and I was dying. So ice packs have been my friend, but I mean, you can't live. I'm using this ice pack that I bought for my kids' jaws when they've had their wisdom teeth removed. So it actually works well because I only need it right there. There's nothing over here that's painful. Another chumpette recommended this head one, and I ordered it. It is so cold, it almost hurts. So I think that will be good for sleeping because it's very comfortable, but I need to leave it out. And last night when we were going to bed, I had not left it out. So I put it on and instantly I had like a brain freeze. And I told the hubs, I was like, this is worse. I was like, I can't sleep in this. It's so cold. So anyways, hopefully I will get on this other medications. I am on Valtrex. I did start it in time, because apparently my headache started late Tuesday, but I didn't get this first lesion, this first blister, which it's all about when this starts, of when you can take the Valtrex and get it in time. So honest to God, thank you so much, because me and my husband, neither one would have ever thought I had shingles. We would have never diagnosed that. So yes, it was shingles. Anyways, I've been laid up in bed and I'm so sick of my bed. So sick of the bed. Literally. Anyway, so I'm way behind in DMs. I will catch up for sure. So Michael says at 50, you can get a shingle shot. So many of y'all are like, you convinced me to get the shingles vaccine. So if that is a good option for you, I hope you get it. I hope it helps prevent this or makes it a mild case. Vaccines are not, as we know, 1,000%. I was suggested to get it last year at my 50-year-old annual checkup, but the doctor happened to be out of them. And so I thought, oh, I'll stop by CVS, I'll stop by Walgreens, my grocery store, I'll get it. Fast forward one whole year, because I go every August for my annual checkup, and I never ended up getting it. Who would have thought? I mean, now I've seen much younger people that have had it and everything. That's very rare. They recommended it at age 50. So don't shame me that I didn't get the vaccination. I mean, I'm dealing with it. I could have still gotten it. Now that I know my immune system was weakened due to having COVID or whatever it was I had. And I was also on this steroid that can also stress your body and cause this shingles to flare up. So anyways, hopefully I will get on this other medicine called gabapentin or something like that. I called the doctor already because that helps with these nervous pings that are happening. So I'm staying on the Advil and the migraine Tylenol and alternating those. But everyone is shocked that they didn't prescribe me something stronger because I guess because I wasn't whining, but it's pretty darn painful. So anyways, fake it till you make it. I just was so ready to chat with y'all. So I will be headed back to bed as soon as we are done chatting though. Anyways, but thank you again sincerely. I really appreciate it for sure. Anyways, okay. Tinks. I finally listened or I watched it on YouTube. The Tinks, it's called, I forget what it's called, but It's Me Tinks has another name like After Morning or something. But the Jeff Lewis podcast on YouTube, they bleeped out the cussing, which I thought was weird because I see cussing on TikTok, on YouTube all the time. But I do think it is better if you don't cuss on YouTube and some of these different apps because it can diminish or make your audience not be seen as big. So I just thought that was weird. But I was told that apparently people that had listened to the podcast, Friday or whenever it first came out, that he said something about his daughter and maybe what they talked about today. If you're listening on a podcast, I'm pointing to my chest where, babies breastfeed from. And apparently that was cut out. So maybe that is what Jeff talked about, getting a cease and desist from Gage on Friday. So it absolutely makes sense, right? Because he's very particular on. Now, do y'all think, tell me in comments, because we know Gage is alerted almost instantly and takes legal action or contacts Jeff, contacts Instagram, whatever he feels like he needs to do. Do you feel like he just checks his DMs constantly for his fans, his friends, his family, whatever that happen to obsess over the Jeff Lewis content and tell him about it? Or do you feel like it's Gage himself listening to this stuff and then taking action? Because whatever it is, he knew about it before I even listened to it. And he clearly probably said or did something also about this Instagram story that went up about Monroe in the $800 purse, right? Knowing Jeff, even though he said he just wanted to, thank the person with the purse that gave him the purse to Monroe, knowing now that Gage sent a cease and desist on Friday, I'm sure it was a subliminal dig like, let me post an Instagram story of our daughter and that will really tick him off. So apparently they are not on good terms as they were last week. Lots of Hinge talk over the weekend on every show, Friday and today. What did I write down? Oh, October. Oh, yes. In the Tinks podcast, if you haven't listened yet, like I said, it's on YouTube. Look up It's Me Tinks and follow me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast because I always post stuff on my Instagram stories. That's just the easiest place. It's not as easy to post like a story. I do sometimes post things as a post on YouTube also, and then the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. But he mentions on the Tinks podcast that his Scary Sherry, his psychic who he's had forever, mentions a public feud in October. And he's telling Jeff, it's going to be really bad for you, but do not engage in it. You think this is about Gage or someone else? I have no idea, but We'll be listening to see. Andy Cohen was back today. He had lots of fun stories back on Andy Cohen Live with John Hill is in New York with him because he's doing a show there. So that was really good. We did hear the news that Kristen Doty from the Valley, Vanderpump Rules, got engaged. He ain't got no money. Is that a real diamond? Is that one of these man-made diamonds? Is that one of these laboratory grown diamonds? We know Kyle Chan was tagged in it. So did he sponsor the engagement for Luke? I do not know, but it's a beautiful ring. Do we care if it's real? Yeah, I kind of want to know what it is. You know what I mean? I kind of want to know if it's a Morganite, as Sheena Shea had, right? Anyways, what else? I did hear from Bravo and Cocktails, my news source, that Vanderpump Rules is definitely coming back, which we kind of figured eventually, and they are getting a spinoff. Oh, I can't itch my head. The itchiness didn't start till like yesterday, so it's hard because I'm like, is that my head itch? And then I'm like, oh, my hair, and then I'm like, oh, I better not, because I have felt these little, when I wash my hair, I'm very like just no telling how dirty my hair is because I don't want to touch it and do any of that. Yeah, Chris, I love that. I love that y'all are nosy as I am. Krista says, agreed, Sarah. I want to know who paid for that ring. Yeah, just be honest, right? They do all these illusions. Yes, that's what I'm trying to get. Krista says the prescribed gabapentin that's better for nerve pain and the ping she's having. Yes, that's what I'm trying to get. So I'm waiting for them to call back. I've got a really nice nurse, whatever lady today. Yeah, I love that y'all are as nosy as I am because, TikTok is a whole other ball game. I love it. It's so easy to create a video there and post it. So make sure you're following me at Sarah from Texas Podcast on TikTok, because I promise you that's where my videos are going to be posted first, because it takes time to then save it and repost it and give it a caption to YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, all those things. But the comments over there about the Mandy and Danae videos I've made that have like well over 1 million views each, they're like, what do you care? Leave these people alone. And I'm like, they're social media content creators. I mean, they've kind of made it, we kind of have to care. It's their business. It's their jobs now. You know what I mean? Like, and who cares? To me, it's like, then why do you care about the Brady Bunch? Why do you care about the book characters that you're reading? The TV shows, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing to me. Reality TV, Jeff Lewis, it's just another step of content creators. And I'm still mad that I was on the wrong side of TikTok all those months and never saw this mom talk that was these banging, young, argumentative Mormon moms that this now documentary is about, that I still haven't started. But I am going to start it, even though I think, didn't you tell me Michael Riley was kind of boring? Wait, what? Y'all are the best. Y'all are better than my doctor, legit. Michael Riley on Instagram said Benadryl sells an itch spray that's really great. It's not that bad. I don't think I need a spray in my head because I don't think it's going to get to the skin. And that's kind of grossing me out to think of spraying my hair. But I did get some more of the lidocaine. I only had a roll-on lidocaine, and then I was using it like as needed. And then I saw it said only 4 to 6 times a day max. So I'm only using this lotion. I like pour it on so I don't touch it, and then I get a cotton ball and just kind of dab it. So anyways, yes, Mayboo from London, shout out, says, are they the two who are on Heather McDonald? I think 4 of them were on Heather McDonald. Somebody sent me a video or something I saw, since, she's got me blocked. They are promoting like crazy. Like, it's so wild. I get people do things in their public or private life, even if they're married, but Mormon religion is a whole different world. I mean, my neighborhood, y'all, is attached to a Mormon church. I guess they built it maybe. We've been in this house 18 years, almost 19. I don't know when they built that Mormon church. Maybe that long. I'd have to look. Anyways, I'm Baptist. So I don't know. But we do have one Mormon neighbor down the street who has 8 kids. So I don't know a ton about the Mormon religion. Obviously, I've learned a lot more from, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm just surprised that they're okay putting all this out there because there's so much judgment. Just like Heather doing the book called Bad Mormon, she got so much crap for that. But these ladies are like, woo, I'm out. I'm living. I'm talking about my threesomes and my foursomes, and I've got children, and the church, and my uncle and my aunt. They're on TikTok. I'm like, I mean, they're doing. I think they'd even do my shitty podcast if I asked them. They're doing everybody's podcast. So I don't know. Is it any good? Is it worth watching? Or am I coming in late to the game because I don't know who these people are? Because I wasn't watching. I saw a Kylie Pitts video yesterday where she woke up and she was like, y'all, we need to talk about this. And one of them she loves. I guess it's telling her husband, you need to go. You need to go. And I'm like, see, am I wrong? Because I don't come into it knowing all this stuff already. I want to know these characters already. See, Michael Riley says it's kind of weak. You know what I mean? Oh my God, Lisa, you are y'all are amazing. Thank you for tapping the screen over on TikTok. Lisa said, it's my favorite place to be at 3:00. I love Sarah and Jeff Lewis. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Anyways. Oh wait, they were outed. Candace? Well, they did a documentary on Hulu and they're going on podcasts and they're doing TikToks showing their face and their names. Candace says Mormons aren't okay with putting it on. Okay, I mean, these particular women and husbands and families, it's their experience. Trust me, it's not the reality of Mormons. Right? I'm just shocked that they are willing to deal with the repercussions. Like they might get, what's it called? Like excommunicated. I know that's a Catholic term, but don't they get kicked out of the church like Heather Gay did from the whatever? Anyways. Okay, let me know if it's worth watching because I need to know. And also, the TV I was trying to watch it on doesn't have the Hulu password saved on it. So I had to go to a different TV. And then I was like, no, oh, my head is itching right there. Deep breath. Deep breath. Wait, what's soda guy? See, I don't know these people. Jennifer Connell on Instagram said the soda guy and all the soda, but dresses pretty slutty. So I'm in. A guy dressing slutty, I'm in. You taught me into it. Okay, Mother of Cats, love your name, says they're trying to change the narrative by blaming one person. And yes, I'm obsessed. Okay. Has great reviews, Mayboo says. It's really funny. Okay, it's funny. So I thought they were fighting. I thought they were banging each other with like threesomes, but then also infighting. Like, I don't know. I'm so mad that this wasn't ever coming up on my TikTok. Dang it. Oh, I love cheap clothes, especially Whitney, Michael Riley says. Okay, speaking of cheap, sorta, let's chat the newest season of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. So usually before the 90 days, from all the shows I've watched, which is every freaking single one of them, before the 90 days usually meant they had already met before and the American was going to host and pay for, what do you call it? Support? Like, there's a word. What's the word, y'all? I don't know it in the language. What did somebody teach me the other day? I don't know how you say it in English. So whatever it is, to make it sound like I know multiple language, whatever it is, to pay, to support them, where the other person from another country was coming to the US. And then there's 90 days started on this show. And then they had to get married, right? Not this one. This one has any of them met before? Let me think of all the couples. I don't think any of them. So we haven't met all the couples. I've watched episodes 1 and 2. That's what's out of season 7. But there's a guy named Lauren that has never been on a plane before. He's very poor. Paul. He has like 4 jobs, but he's still Paul. Sponsor. Thank you, Pina. I knew you would know the word. Sponsor. They have to sponsor the person and pay for everything. They can't work. He gets on the plane for the first time in his life to go see his love of his life, Faith, who she calls herself Lady Boy, because that's how they explain it in the Philippines. Basically, since she was 15 years old, she has been living her life as a man, but she also, because of money and whatever reason, she doesn't do any hormones or any surgeries. So she's exactly what Lauren is looking for, a woman with a wiener. That is Lauren's dream. But he just doesn't want a woman with a wiener. He wants multiple people because he wants to be in an open relationship, but he hasn't even told her this. That is the theme of these 2 episodes. They are in love, but we haven't exactly talked about marriage, kids, where we're going to live, that I'm poor, finances, that I want to be in an open relationship. Like, what? I don't know what they've been doing with all this FaceTiming, but they're not talking about the big stuff. So that's going to be a hot freaking mess. Although I do have hopes because Lauren does seem very sweet. Faith has an actual real job. Lauren is the one that's going to be suffering. But see, she wants to leave the Philippines and go to a better life in America, but she doesn't know he's broke ass shit. He wants to live in the Philippines because he's broke as shit and wants to make more, the cost of living. Then we've got Tiger Lily. Is that her? What Tiger? What the fuck is Tiger Lily? 41 years old, very conservative, Frisco, Texas, which is very near Dallas. Apparently she was married to money, has 2 kids. She's 41, going to show up to Jordan, having never met this guy Adnan at 22 years old, marry him the same day just so they can bang it out that night as seen in the eyes of God, in the eyes of, what's the word? What's the word when you're Muslim? Jesus Louise, y'all are going to have a ball at me not being able to word. God, but Islam. What's their word for God? Anyways, they're going to be a hot freaking mess because not only does she show up with her hair and makeup people, those are her closest friends. Yes, people that she pays. He tells her he wants 5 kids. Allah, thank you so much. Allah. He tells her he wants 5 kids. And he doesn't necessarily want to live in Dallas area all the time. He's going to float back and forth because he's got 14 siblings to come back. He's a model. He travels. She's like, what the hell? So I don't even know if they're going to end up getting married. The other people, there's Brian. He's in a wheelchair. So that's unique. I don't think we've ever had a wheelchair bound person on, but he's got some lie. He hasn't told his girl yet, Ingrid yet, from Brazil. And then we've got Renee, but she spells her name like rain, lives on a farm, doesn't really like humans. She is meeting Chitty for the first time in Nigeria. They've been together 5 years and have never met. 5 years? What? And he is blind because an apple fell on his head. Yep. And then he tripped over a desk and then he got more blind. You can't make this shit up. Oh, good one. Miss T on TikTok says, isn't Tiger Lily going to use the alimony if she marries Ali? His name's not Ali, Adnan. She didn't talk details. All we know is she's rich because she's got a hair person, a makeup person, a massage person. She's got a lip filler person who's doing a terrible job. The hair extensions are awful. The eyelash lady is terrible. I mean, I've got notes for this Tiger Lily girl. You need to be going somewhere different. Dallas has got some nice places, I'm sure. You're not going to the right places. But I don't know. She didn't mention if she got a lump sum. She didn't mention all of that. All we see is her buying this $27,000 watch. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm like, oh my God. But she may not. Deborah Carter on Instagram says, I thought you lost spousal support if you remarried. Clearly, she ain't going to put down the cash. You know what I mean? She probably had a lump sum or something. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. So they finally meet on episode 2, which is what is out now. Make sure to go watch it on TLC or the app, or sometimes they put it out on Max. I don't know. Really, really cute. Like I said, probably the least one I'm into is the guy in the wheelchair, Brian and Ingrid, because he's already been married 4 times. He's only 51. And he's also, on top of that, had multiple relationships. I'm like, dude, you're just needy, or, at this point, it's you, Brian. At this point, it's you. Even though he's cute, he's athletic, he's positive. He looks like a fun Uber driver, which I don't know how much you make being an Uber driver full time, but anyways, poor Chitty and his family. Roseanne says poor Chitty from Nigeria and his family have to deal with the chicken lady. Yeah, she's obsessed with chickens. She doesn't even like humans. She just likes chickens and animals, right? And, we think she likes her 2 kids. but she's never like been in love. She said she's never made love. She's only had, sexy time. So that was kind of sad. And she's happy that he's blind, but because she has, self-image issues, right? She's nervous about how she looks. He feels her at the airport and was like, "Oh, you're big. You're a big woman." And I'm like, the look on her face is like, "Fucking A." And he's like, he goes, "Yeah, you're not skinny." He's like, but it's the body I like." And I'm like, oh, God, for you to tell a woman who has body image issues, you're not skinny, you're big. I was dying. So let me know if you're going to watch it. Please watch it so I can chat with it. I know Pina watches it, so I need y'all to watch it with me. Real Housewives of OC. So good. I fucking clap. I got to give it to Heather and Terry Dubrow. Honest to God. They've got 4 children. She never really talks about which, what, who cares. She's trying to, balance this fine line of being honest and proud of her children, but also being respectful of their privacy because, 1 or 2 are still in high school. So anyways, or at least when they were filming this, but she talks about how she has 4 different genders. His name is Sosa Kent. Oh, that's her legal. Bridget Grogins just let us know that Lala just announced her baby boy is named Sosa. So what does Sosa mean? Because I thought it was supposed to be about nature to go along with ocean. I don't know what Sosa means. Yeah, I heard it here. No, you didn't really hear it here first. Yes, Miss T. 5 weddings is crazy. Brian's got some problems. He's definitely the problem there. But I was so proud. They basically asked 2 of their kids, the OC is very conservative, very whatever. We also have a house in LA. Which school, where do you feel most comfortable living in school? And they both say LA because of the social stuff. It's a girl. No, they had a boy, Bridget. No. Oh my God. You're so right. She did have a girl. Duh. I still don't know what Sosa means, but of course she had a girl. You're right. It was really good though. And then part of it is they go somewhere to some resort and like spa and like fancy lunch in these little cottages. I could not tell. Is that a place that they have and then they make profit off of that, which helps fund this charity for I think it's the LGBTQA plus society or not society community. I'm using all the wrong words today. Anyways, they didn't exactly explain that really well, but we also know that Alexis Bellino and Jim Bellino have a child that is trans also. Is that still the term? What's the term? Whatever. Y'all know what I mean. I'm not being disrespectful. Whatever the word is, they have changed their gender. Anyways, but she doesn't really talk about that. They kind of dive around it a little bit with her and Heather Dubrow talking, but that it means a lot to them. So, but Shannon, good Lord, Shannon gets wind. Did Gina mean to say this? I mean, Gina's been on reality TV for years now. I cannot tell if Gina meant to mention these videos because Shannon was like, what videos? It looked so real. It looked so in real time that she just found out that there's some videos that Alexis is saying they might release something about the night that she got the DUI. Maybe something about almost running over John Jansen's daughter. I have no idea if these are inside videos or exterior videos, but also they need to just zip it. They need to just, first of all, stay out of it, Alexis. It's not your battle. I know it's your man, your fiance now, but I feel like this is going to make John Jansen look worse because now we know, as we thought initially, if this wreck happened literally 3 to 5 seconds after she left his house, there's no way a neighbor, I mean, she's on a freaking reality TV show. She's Shannon freaking Bedore. He's been on the show. There's no way a neighbor didn't call and let him know. And then she texts him this bloody picture of her and he doesn't look at it or respond till like the next day. Like, he's just gross. Like, good riddance, Johnny J. Good riddance, John Jansen. And to think at BravoCon 2022, They were together and she's taking pictures at the booth. And, he was just kind of backing off. And I was like, no, come take a picture with us. So I've got me in between Johnny J and Shannon Bedore. And now I wish it was just me and her. Anyways, I don't know. Miss T on TikTok says, would it be wrong if Shannon countersued for the money she spent on him? I think at this point, the drama of her going through every bill, if she's like me and a lot of us and Jeff Lewis, we use multiple credit cards. I don't really use one thing on gas. I don't really use one. I don't know. I use different credit cards for different rewards. So I would have to go through all those credit cards. And that would just be stressful to be going through that to look. And if you're paying an attorney to do it, it's going to cost you more money. So I don't know if it's worth it for her emotionally, financially, to pay an attorney to countersue him for the money that she spent on him. I do feel like, maybe unpopular opinion, I do feel like she should pay him back for the $35,000 facelift that he paid for. I feel like I wouldn't want to know that I had something on my face that I can't return, like the Ferragamo shoes that he can't return, knowing that my ex paid for that and then he's suing me for it. So I would want to pay for that, which she offered half and he said no. But, also, does she need to be nitpicky? I don't know. It sounds like, I thought she said at the time, she needed this money. So if she needed money, that sounds more like he gave it to her, whether they did a legal loan or a paper loan, whatever. It sounds like her paying for stuff, everything, the first couple of years. That sounds more like an optional gift or a mistake on her part for being dumb and paying for the flights and the dinners and the whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like he had the money. It sounds like she didn't have the money at the time and he helped her out. So I don't know. I do think it's a little, if she's got $75,000, I think, she needs to just write the check and be done with him and not have this drag on anymore. You know what I mean? There's transphobia in these comments. What? Okay. I don't see anything. Okay. Yes. Louise says, I would have paid back the entire $75,000. I think it was a loan. I mean, the facelift, unless that's hey, here's your birthday present. I don't think he'd be dumb enough to sue, knowing that he gave that to her as a birthday present. Because I do think in the OC, people can give a facelift for a birthday present or Christmas or, whatever, right? Liz and the Bee says he won't take the $75,000. Yeah, because he wants to drag this out, because it's Alexis's storyline. Gross. It was awful, though, at the very end, whenever Shannon and Heather are having this chat and she shows the picture to Heather Bedore, the bloody picture of her. It was awful, but super funny. Leave it to Emily to talk about tacos. Leave it to Shane to bring the fact up that she had Taco Bell the night before and she was going to feel fluffy the next day. It was hilarious. Where were comments that were transphobic? I don't know. I don't see anything. Sarah Leffel says free speech allows for discrimination and the comments were transphobic. I don't know. I don't think you mean here. I think you mean somewhere else. Anyways, let me know, because we don't play that. This is a safe place. Also, the Sarah from Texas Facebook group to have opinions, but we are not a hate group. We're not here to bash. And, we can have opinions on co-hosts and reality TV and shows we don't like. But when it gets gross, you get booted and go find one of the mean Jeff Lewis groups. Go find some other nasty place to hang out. It's not for us. This is a place to be opinionated, but also be respectful and know that, we accept everyone except for, like Alexis Bellino. No, I'm kidding. Miss T says the engagement is to secure Alexis's full-time spot for next season. Gross, huh? Ugh, she grosses me out. Anyways, I still don't know why Eddie's not shown at all, though. I don't know. Something up. Okay. We've got plenty of time do we want to chat Friday's Jeff Lewis? We'll go over it a little bit since I did not listen to it until probably the weekend. Literally had a 10:30 appointment that didn't happen at 10:30. Doctor's appointments always run late. Then she freaked me out, said, yes, it is shingles, but with it being in your eye and the pain and the itching you're having in your eye, it's a little bit swollen also. She made me go to this emergency ophthalmology appointment. So just with all that, I couldn't have gone live. I was too stressful, needed to get back in bed. So I listened to it the next day. Well, actually, I watched it on video. But Friday was Tracy Tudor and John Hill. So cute. Lots of dating app talk. She's doing really well on the dating apps. Never know about Sniffy's app. It's an X-rated grinder where your wiener is your profile picture. And instead of like where you are, like if I go to the mall, it's going to show me, oh, this is it's the wiener, like your wiener is your profile picture. So you're looking like, oh, near the food court is that wiener. Over here at Neiman Marcus, money is this wiener. Or, I'm like, oh my God, I would just die. Jeff said he went on that app. Sniffies. What the hell kind of name is Sniffies? Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Sarah says, if your opinion is transphobic, please keep it to yourself. LGBTQ in the house. And whether anyone is in that group or not, as a lifestyle, as a life, we don't need to be saying awful comments anyways. Okay. On Friday's show, he talked about Monroe is now sleeping with him every single night. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it other than the fact that he's single. So if he gets in a relationship, as he claims he's starting to look for now, every other week, could be an issue. But I could see where Monroe could see that as being pushed out. Like literally I'm being pushed out of the bed because Jimmy is here or whatever. Ooh. What do you think some names of Jeff's new man could be? Let's see. He's been with a Ryan long-term. A Ryan, who's the guy I dated for 5.5 years that was a smoker? I don't think he ever tells us his name. Ryan, Gage. Ryan for a couple years. Gage for 10-ish. Scott for 2.5-ish. Stu for 2-ish. I wonder. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes. Thank you, Krista. I wonder what someone he dates, what would their name be? You'll tell me in comments. Jeff says he wants less drama in his next relationship, but I don't know. Based on what he said today, we'll talk about it in a second, but the guy he went on a date with Friday night and had no shirt on to go into Ore Bar. Now, I've never been in Ore Bar. I think it is a gay bar or, gay and lesbian bar. Not really sure. But apparently the alley is known. It's literally called Vaseline Alley. So if you're parked there and then you get out at 40, 50 years old without a shirt on and just jeans, I think he maybe thought they weren't ever going to go into the bar, or they were going to have some activity and then go into the bar, or go into the bar and then have some activity. So is Jeff really looking for a long-term relationship? I don't know. But on Fridays, Jeff was extended with Patrick and Pole. They talk about Universal Horror Nights, October 26th. He's clear with the date. Jeff Lewis wants, in my opinion, he wants people to show up. He wants chumps to buy a ticket. Because trust me, there will be plenty of y'all. They're probably in my DMs already, and I haven't read them yet, where y'all are like, oh my God, I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights now, October 26th. Y'all will, because you will see Jeff, and who else did he say is going? Shane, probably Brogan. He invited Jameson, which means probably Brandon. He invited Naya this time. I don't remember if he invited Oscar the Voice. I don't remember. Anyways, out with the old, in with the new. He's got a lot of tickets available this year because he's, not friends with those people that went last year, right? A lot of them. Thank you, Jen, over on TikTok for the rose. Anyway, so October 26th, if you're feeling it, go to Universal Horror Nights and look for the group. Probably Carney will be. I don't know who will be. I don't think but he will. He'll announce the lineup 5 or 6 times for sure. There was a caller that said that Jeff seemed nervous on the Tix podcast. And I noticed that too. Starts off and he's like rubbing his ear. Then he was rubbing his shoe because you can see. But in his defense, as Jameson would say, I think they talked about it at the end. The setup for the podcast is kind of different. Also, he's kind of, it was set up, I don't know, it's just different, just set up a little bit unusual. Jamie did make a comment about curtains the other day, and he did feel the need to clarify that. I still don't know if he really meant it as like female bodily curtains or if he meant curtains when he was talking to Naya. He absolutely says I meant curtains, like hanging drapes, but I don't know. Yes, Susan DG says I must watch it. Yeah, you should watch it versus listen to it. It's just always better to listen to it for sure, I think. Ooh, Krista says Jeff was repeatedly refusing to let Tinks run the show, the podcast. He was trying to put her in her place. It was classic Jeff. Okay, this is why I always say we should always listen or watch things for ourselves to get our own opinions. Respectfully, Krista, I didn't feel that way. I did think he seemed a little bit nervous, but I think he was very respectful of Tinks. I don't know. I don't know. If he wants to put anyone in his place, I feel like it'll be Alex Cooper because she took all the Sirius XM money, apparently, right? Tinks's podcast is called It's Me Tinks, but it actually has a different name, but you can find it under It's Me Tinks on YouTube. That's where I found it, but I don't know where it's at on her it's just Google what is Tinks's podcast name, because she apparently does a live show, she does a regular podcast, she does this. I mean, that girl's working, making the coins for sure. Jeff did say there's a possible Dallas live show, and he does have a sponsor for a New York City live show. But the venue that they talked about, someone called in, this popular venue, Paramount on Long Island, has like 1,000 people, and Jeff's worried that he wouldn't sell it out. So I don't know. I feel like there's so many more people like me that would fly to New York. They would make a vacation out of it. So maybe he would sell 1,000. So if you feel like he could, send him a DM. Let him know. Let him know what you thought. What if you think he will? At the very end of it, poll, they were talking about bisexuality, and Jeff's like, we're not going there again. I keep getting all the hate, and Oscar says he's getting all the people like, are you okay with what Jeff's saying about you? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. But don't forget, Patrick was married to a woman, and they have a grown daughter together. Now, Patrick and Paul have been together like 20, 21 years. But Paul brought up, he was basically saying, well, Patrick, aren't you bisexual because you were married to a woman? And the way Patrick was like, no, like he totally started stuttering. But I thought it was interesting. I feel like people and I don't want to be rude to Patrick about his age because I don't know his legal age, but I'm 51. I think Patrick is older than me. So I think people of a certain generation, however you grew up, I think he was Catholic, is Catholic, wasn't ever encouraged to maybe come out. So maybe that's all he knew. And I don't know when he started feeling that he was a gay man, but I think unlike what Jeff thinks, I think there's definitely bisexual people, and there's definitely gay people only, and there's definitely lesbian people only, and then other things also. But I just thought it was interesting that Paul was basically telling his husband, aren't you bisexual because you were married to a woman? And I'm like, well, Lisa Walker says, my wife was married to a man for 18 years. Okay, interesting. Do you feel, I wonder, now I'm so curious, Lisa Dog Walker, was she into him? Like, do you feel like she's bisexual and like she's into that as a man, and then she as a wife, and now she's into you as a female? Or do you feel like she was stuck living a lifestyle that she thought society said she had to live? Does that make sense? Yeah. And we're getting deep here. Yeah, which makes me sad, right, Louise? I am so glad that more than ever, every year we get, well, there's still hate crimes and awful shit that goes on, but Louise says it wasn't safe for Patrick to be himself earlier in his life. Same with Jeff. Jeff was with women until his mid-20s and said he was in love and loved having sex with them. So I don't know at what point he realized I'm only into men, because he's definitely not into women at all anymore. Lisa Dogwalker says it was a lifestyle she thought she had to live. Yeah. So, Bravo and Stone says, I think Jeff was low key attempting to gain the advantage in the beginning of the conversation. Okay, I can see that, thinking back to the beginning of it. I guess that's where I thought he just seemed nervous with Tinks. Yeah, but because he was like rubbing his ear and stuff. If you have not, I did a video of all the podcasts he's done, like besides his own, obviously. Two T's in a Pod, the Tinks one, Do Moi, which is called Do You, and Zach Noe Towers, After Hours. After Hours, by far the most revealing podcast ever. I feel like the Tinks, we kind of knew all these stories, like he just vomited information that we knew. But to Tinks' audience, who may not know Jeff Lewis, which boo for them, it was probably new information to them. But for us obsessed people that listen to Jeff Lewis every day and chat about him, they were kind of old stories that he re-spit out. A little bit also with the Do You also. And because we know that drama between him and Dumois. And then, the only thing I really remember about him in the Two T's pod is when they asked him at that rapid fire, who that he should get rid of, Melissa or Teresa. And he said Teresa, and she got all pissed off. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah. Liz in the Bee says, I saw no disrespect of one-upping of Tinks. Yeah. So who knows? Okay. Let's chat today. Pej Vidot was back, and Jeff made it very clear on the Jeff Lewis Extended show that there's absolutely no hard feelings between them. The only reason he hasn't been on is because he moved to New York because his long-term girlfriend and him decided to make a very serious go at it. They've been together like 21 years, and she lives in Boston. So being an actor and, on Broadway and stuff, it just makes sense for him to live in New York City. So, wait, what, Annie? I don't think you've ever told me that. Annie says, I was married for 22 years to a gay man. He left me for him. Wow. Girl, we got to talk. This is why I want to do like an advice podcast. I am so interested in people. Like, I really am. Like, I want to hear all about that and whatever. But I also somehow need to figure out how to make it anonymous, because I feel like there's so many questions, especially with our immediate family or a neighbor or our children or a teenager or an adult child, our spouses, that, y'all need it to be anonymous. So please send me I keep trying to think of that and brainstorm like how I can make that podcast happen. I'll still call it Sarah from Texas, but I think y'all would just send me, either a voice note or a, pretty good example of the question, and then we would chat about it. But I also want y'all to be able to chat about it in comments. So we'll figure it out. Yeah. And ask Sarah. Yeah. Susan says, now don't forget, Jeff definitely said at a live show, and I'm forgetting, he definitely said it at a live show, but I think he said it on the radio too, that he had said that Pej was terrible on the radio. He just wasn't made for radio because he just didn't give enough of his own personal life. So I don't think he meant that as a jab as a human or as a friend. I think he really likes Pej, and he's awfully very cute, as Crystal Minkoff was flirting with him. But I'm glad to hear that he's back and welcome. And he still clearly listens to the show because he knew everything that was going on, which is what I love. Pej, thank you for the gifts over on TikTok. Is that you, Jen Kelly Mom? Thank you. Thank you. Cherish Miller says, please do the podcast. I need to quit being sick, right? Everyone says stress. And I'm like, honey, I'm not stressed. Like, I have a wonderful life, thankfully. But I do keep being, and when I get sick, trust me, y'all don't want to hear the hemorrhoid story. You think Jeff has one? Honey, multiple surgeries when I'm pregnant. Not fun. I get every weird thing to the extreme. Like, I don't just get shingles. I got to get them on my head and near my eye. And you know what I mean? I do need to do the other podcast. When should I put it out? Tuesdays or Sundays? I'm trying to figure it out. Anyways. Okay. What are we talking about? I don't even know. Pej Vidot, I'm glad he's back. these charity winners, Sarah and I don't remember his name, Rob, somebody sitting in the corner today for over $20,000. They did this charity fundraiser on Charity Buzz. They've done it before. And Jeff has asked, I think the last time I remember was like $3,000 to $5,000. Yes, I was telling you about Pej. KFC says, yes, he did it. Spring Fling, which was May 30th. He basically said that that Pej was not good for the radio, but he never said anything bad about him personally. He was just saying that he kind of closed himself off because he didn't want to talk about his personal life or anything that could be bad for him professionally. And now maybe he's opened up. Also, maybe now that he's back with this girl, he's had a chat with her and said, look, these are the maybe he pulled a Brandon and a Jameson, was like, look, let's have a responsible conversation about what we talk about, what boundaries, what I can discuss, what I can't, what have you. Hey, Hector, Sundays. Cherish says, I like Sundays. That's my free day. Okay, so maybe I'll do it on Sunday. We'll figure it out. I think it should be a live podcast, though, so we can chat. It would go up as a replay and a podcast, but I don't know. I got to figure it out. Mayboo, your real name is Rachel? I'm still going to call you Mayboo in London, but I love that. Shout out. Oh, Jordy says Pej is still friendly with Megan and Stu. But see, I think that's okay because Pej is not in Jeff's inner circle and doesn't even live in LA anymore. So I think it's okay for sure. Whoever that Sarah is, call me. I would love to be friends. Whoever you are, you clearly have a husband that loves you enough to do this charity buzz for you. And the fact that you would spend $20,000 to sit in a room with Jeff Lewis and the Chumps is just goals. Like, I love that. I mean, I wouldn't spend that money, and I would kick my husband in the nuts if he spent $20,000 on that. Like, I would be like, we got 3 colleges right now to pay for. No way. But I love it for her, right? Love it for them. Thank you, Ann says, been at the doctor's office. Hope everything. Hit the button. Watch the replay. Thank you. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Did y'all know that Oscar drives from BFE, wherever he lives at home with his parents, which I love because I think that's his culture, but also they're saving money, which makes sense to me. But he sleeps in his car for 2.5 hours in the P4 parking lot so he's not late for work and so he's not sitting in traffic. That's very early. I mean, that's extreme, but I guess it is LA. I guess you don't want to be late. You definitely don't want to be explaining to Jeff freaking Lewis why you're late. Because you know what? As much as Jeff complained about this day and made fun of him, Jeff would be like, you need to leave your house 2.5 hours early. You need to sit in your car and sleep. Like, I can totally hear Jeff being like, there's no excuse for being late. Like, if I were you, I could totally see him saying that. Don't you think? That's hilarious. Hilarious. Then him and Crystal had a really funny conversation, who Pej doesn't have any kids, but he's very interested. Like, how do you be so rich? Like, Crystal and her husband are way more richer than Jeff, like way richer. And I think, Crystal isn't poor. She comes from money too. But not spoiling your kids, even though they're rich, but I love that she's like, look, I tell them I can't afford it. Or I tell them, look, that's a Christmas present. That's a birthday thing. And, doing the dishes, I'm not going to pay you money because that's what you do just to live here. So I don't know. Kind of liked it. At the very end is when they talked about the no shirt guy on the date at Orbar. I don't know. Jeff says he's going to go on a date with him again. He's definitely not the long-term dude, right? Wonder if I can scratch this side of my head. I think anything that itches here is off. You know what I mean? It's like, is this a normal itch or is this a shingles itch? Like, I don't even know. Thank you, Pauline, for sharing the live over on TikTok. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Oh my gosh, over 6,000 likes. Thank you so much. Just tap the screen. It's free, but it just helps other fans to find us, other people who love reality TV. Christina Anderson on Instagram says Jeff was winding up Carney. Yeah, but Carney was like F off. She definitely used she's definitely can hold her own for sure. Oscar is a sweetheart, Krista. I've met Oscar and the infamous Andy with the glasses. And she did have the glasses on for sure. Louise says Crystal is rich on her own with the coconut water. Yeah. Crystal is so rich with her brother. I think they're the ones that have that company that they don't even have to talk about it. I think they said they sold out like 18. Their products are like 18 months out. You know what I mean? Oh, Mama Judy says I can scratch the other side. This is just a shingle. I've learned so much, and I am going to make a video because so many people are asking me about it. But like what my early symptoms was, what I've learned from my doctor, what products I'm using, what works, what doesn't. Because truly, I was blindsided by this shingles diagnosis. I had no idea. So, anyways, but let me feel better before I can do that. Yeah, I mean, Mabu says, I spoiled my kids, made a few mistakes regarding that one, but I also hugged them and told them I love them every day. I love that. And I mean, what's spoiling to one person is just meeting the needs. Maybe their needs were, designer bags and shoes, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe their needs were okay. We're going to open up a little bit for a few any questions y'all have. But the Jeff Lewis extended was Carney and Doug. Love them together so much. What Jameson said about being a redhead, I am a natural born redhead. My hair went blonde at 2, but I was born with orange hair. So I didn't know anything I have a very high pain tolerance. I really do. Like giving birth to all 5 kids with no pain medicine, optionally. I've driven myself to the doctor with a 6-millimeter kidney stone. I've had plantar fasciitis at the extreme. I won't even say the word. Okay, just Google. Y'all get ready for this. If you've ever heard of this, I'm going to die. I don't even know if I should say it. I shouldn't. Thrombosed hemorrhoids. Google an image of that and just see what comes up. I've had it multiple times. Horrendous. And I always have it when I'm pregnant because that's when I gain the weight and you can't take as much pain medicine or when they do the surgery. Anyway, so I have a very high pain tolerance, but it wasn't until like years ago when I was at the dentist and they were doing something and I was like, I feel that. I was like, I don't mean to whine, but I feel that. It's because I'm a natural born redhead. A lot of us genetically, the pain medicine, we need more and more of the pain medicine. So it kind of made sense. So someone knows what a thrombosed hemorrhoid is. Oh my God. I am so sorry. That will make you walk like you can't even cough with a thrombosed hemorrhoid. I mean, all I'm going to say is sphincter. Oh, man. Mabu says, I literally have no idea what color my hair is. I've been dyeing it for 35 years. Yeah. I haven't, but I don't like a TV show. Jordy says, have you watched the new Nicole Kidman series, Perfect Couple on Netflix? No. I know. 5 kids do take a toll. I literally started getting gray hairs the first month I gave birth and the first weekend, and I was 28 years old. Don't look it up, Lisa. Lisa says, I'm scared to look that up, Sarah. Besides, I don't know how to spell it. Thrombosed. Thrombosed. Hemorrhoid. She's special. It's a very special kind. It is. Whoo. Okay. No more sight glass. I don't know if it's the food, if it's the price, if they're cutting back, if they were having looky-loos. By the way, anytime we have gone to the sight glass or I've had a meetup with other chumps and chumpettes, I have always messaged somebody, whether it was Jameson, Jeff, usually I don't bother Jeff, but Jameson or Doug or Shane, and said, hey, on this date, 9 to 11, because I assume at 9 a.m. they're already in the studio. They probably left sight glass at like 8:40, 8:45, right? So our meetups would always be like 9 to 11, and we would like plan to listen to the show and chat about it. But I think other people, I know before I was ever doing that, people were going to sight glass because it makes sense. If you're a fan, hey, Looney, if you're a fan and they have mentioned every day almost that they go to sight glass and it's walking distance from where they do the podcast and it's good breakfast, it really is, people are going to go. So Carney said that she thinks people were going and like sitting close to them and trying to listen. So that's a whole different deal because we have never, let me think. I think the first time they were walking out, but we were sitting at the front. It's a huge restaurant. It's a huge restaurant if you've never been. But anyways, it doesn't matter because they're not going there anymore anyways. How was your day? My kids are home. Hi, Looney. The kids are home. I was surprised that Doug's never been on dating apps before, like ever. Like, I don't know. They called him like non-sexual, but I don't think that's what it was at all. Anyways, that is all I have. Were there any more questions? The music. Yeah, Krista says the music. They would complain about the music. And I think the music when I would be there, I don't remember. I think it was just normal. I don't really know. Yes. Thrombosed, like instead of SISED, thrombosed hemorrhoids. Oh, Joanne says I started to turn gray at 25. Oh, isn't it? No fun. Anyways. Okay, well, I am going to get out of here, go back to get my ice pack. Ooh, I would like it, but I like reality TV, and there's so much on right now with 90 Day Fiance. There's at least 2 of those on before the 90 days, and I think The Other Way is on tonight. Real Housewives of OC, one more episode of $1 Million Listing LA. Obviously, Jeff Lewis and Jeff Lewis Extended, 10 hours a week. I can't, what else do I watch? So much. I can't even keep up. There's something else. There's something else on Bravo. Anyways, yes, I will. But I will see y'all tomorrow. Same place, same time. Thank you so much. Make sure you're following me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. And give a thumbs up, give a heart, make a comment, all the things, share it. I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern. Bye, y'all. Bye, TikTok. Bye, Instagram. Bye, YouTube and Facebook.